Welcome to another edition of the John McEntyre Show Live. I'm John McEntyre. Today is December the 11th, 2024. Today is Wednesday, December the 11th, 2024. Yeah, this week seemed like yesterday it was Sunday. I had to get myself together here, and we are 2 weeks away from Christmas. So the clock is ticking, and then we have another week, and we'll be done with 2024, going into 2025, a new year. And so I have a good show today. I'm answering a very important question that I get a lot, and that comes up a lot when I'm working with clients. As a matter of fact, it's one of the first things I do when I take on a new coaching client. It's the very first thing. I go through a questionnaire, and then their homework is this if they're not already doing it. Most people that follow me know that I know what's going to come up, what's the most important thing. But if not, that's what I cover first. And so let's get into it. You know the routine. We're going to cover some wallet wins here that I've received, and then we will get into the topic. So first wallet win is I made my extra contributions to my IRA. That is a big time wallet win. A lot of people forget about that extra, that they can make, and you want to check the rules for your particular IRA. It is particular situations. Your age comes into play. The type of IRA, things like that. So check out that IRA. That's some homework for today before you do anything else this year. Check that IRA contribution limit and make sure that you've maximized it, because that's retirement. We need as much in retirement as possible. All right, so wallet win number two, I sold my old phones and I'm paying cash for my new phone. Yes, that is a wallet win. I remember when I first started using iPhones, went up to Apple. And the main reason why is because I didn't start out Apple. I went over to Apple and iPhones because of real estate. The real estate industry itself, the tech people, because real estate was making its transition into being online, and they were making it better. And so Apple was doing a very good job with um, being first to market with certain technologies, and they worked very well with Apple and their products. And so I was like, okay, I don't want to be behind anymore. So I don't want to be behind. I wasn't behind. I just didn't want to end up, being behind, not being effective for my clients. So I took all of my phones, and at that time, these new companies were coming out where they were buying phones. And so I had about four. I kept one that's like a series. I think it's going to be a collector's item, which it is. Every now and then I'll take it out. People see it, and especially the techies. Oh, they geek out over it. It's actually the Trio phone, and so I kept it. But the other phones, those flip phones, things like that, I boxed them up with this particular company, sent them, and I was able to pay cash for my first iPhone, um, which was, I'm gonna date myself. That was the iPhone 4S. That was the first iPhone that I purchased, and I was able to do that with selling my old phones. I just had them; they were in a box. They weren't the kind that was holding a lot of information. I wasn't using it for that. Oh, I forgot. I did keep my BlackBerry. BlackBerry, they didn't do a good job responding to the market, and so I was sad that I had to go away from BlackBerry. But that's another story. I don't want to touch it. But I did keep that one of the originals. But I actually did that. That was a big wallet win, because those phones, I was like, wow, these phones are expensive. And they were like, well, you can do the pay plan. And I thought about it, but then I saw that company that bought phones, and I was like, okay, let's try it. Worked out very well. So that is a wallet win. Number three is huge. I'm trying not to be envious of this one, but I won a $500 gift card. Got $500 Visa gift card. This time of the year, $500. Yeah, That's a serious wallet win there. $500 Visa gift card. I've shared my story. I've won a couple of those, especially in my real estate days. Builders, you were bringing clients, things like that. You were being entered into drawings, and so I won my share of cash and credit cards and things like that at with while being in real estate. Excuse me. So that is a huge wallet win there. So there we go. 3 good wallet wins. Made extra contributions to my IRA, sold my old phones, and I'm paying cash for my new phone. And I won a $500 gift card. Excellent wallet wins for today. You have wallet wins, you want to share them? Put them in the comments in the chat box. If you're watching by Facebook Live, or YouTube, put them in there. And if you're watching, if you're not actually watching the live, if you're watching this later on, you can still share your wallet wins. I see them. I'll be alerted. We see them. We'll make sure and share them. 'Cause this a lot of times is what we're doing. People are just, as I talk to people, they're telling me what's going on and things like that. Email, direct messages, stuff. So I'm appreciative of that, but I'm just letting people know that you can actually do it live while you're here. So just put a hashtag wallet win. I see it. I'll address it, celebrate it with you. Or if you have a question, put the uppercase Q or capital Q, um, whichever one you prefer to use, tomato. Um, Put it in there. I see it. I'll answer the question. I receive a ton of questions. I have a stack of them, but if we're live and you send in your question, I'll make sure and answer it. So let's get into today's topic. Like I was saying, um, when we're working with clients, we bring on new coaching clients, or anything for finances. Even if it's not financial coaching, it could be to for insurance purposes or whatever. One of the first things I'm going to ask, or I want to see, is your tracking. I want to see that you're tracking your finances. Um, Probably one of the biggest issues I see when people are having issues with their finances. One of the number one contributors of having problems is, yes, they're over. They may be overspending. They may be going through some other things, but usually it's they're not tracking their expenses. They're just not tracking. They're just spending, and they're not keeping up with what they're spending, or how they're using their money. And so I always tell people, look, um, you have to do tracking, because tracking, it gives you a clear picture of where your money is going. You know, in fitness, for instance, you're working with a fitness coach or dietitian. First thing they're going to ask you a question. If you're working for a fitness coach, you're there to work out, but your goal may be to gain muscle, lose fat, lose weight, whatever your goal is. You could be getting ready for a wedding. You want to get into that wedding dress, or you're about to go to the beach. You want to get the beach body in check. So, first thing they're going to ask you is about your diet, and they're going to say, "Are you tracking your calories in, calories out? Are you tracking what you're eating?" And we all know the average person will say no. Okay, that's your homework, is to start tracking what you're eating, because you have to get everything in. You have ratios you have to work with, your macros, your proteins, carbohydrates, and your fats. And so they could be, if they're not in, it doesn't matter how you're working out or what you're doing. You could be doing 10,000 steps a day. You can be going to the gym 7 days a week, working out with weights 2 hours a day, doing cardio until till there's just a pool of sweat on the floor. If you're not tracking your diet, if it's out of whack, all the other stuff, you basically, you is a trial of futility. It's just not going to work for you. And so that's what, over here in finances, that's the equivalent of what tracking is for you. That's why you want to track your finances. Um, we all know that, to get ahead financially, you want to spend less than you make. That's foundational. Spending less than you make. If you're spending more than you're earning, you're just not going to hit your financial goals. Well, tracking is where the rubber meets the road. It gives you that clear picture. Um, and the main other than that, there are other uh, benefits to tracking. Number one is just you can put together. Uh, you will have better financial management. You will just be able to manage your finances better because you know what every dollar is doing. So, you track your spending and you get a clear understanding where the money is going. And this information, it's very important to make the informed decision for your financial future, because now you've tracked and you know where every dollar is going. Now you can start the process of building the plan, your goal setting, things like this. You want to set those goals. I always say set some dreams and goals even before you're tracking, but because that will, motivate you to get those types of things done. Because most people, they will argue against tracking. They will fuss and fight. That's just too much detail, things like this. So the question becomes, what's more important, your financial future or, not tracking? Do you want your financial future bad enough, a better financial future bad enough to do what has to be done? And if so, that's where, you'll be motivated to do tracking. So this is just better financial management. Your plan will be much more effective when you're tracking. Um, it helps you avoid overspending. You see, oh, wow, it's not so much as that daily cup of coffee, but it's the daily cup of coffee. And then I have to have the snack with the coffee. And then I have to have, I'm eating out lunch every day. And then and then on the way home, I'm stopping maybe to get gas. And then I go in the store and I end up spending more than I intended to. Then I get home and I don't feel like cooking or whatever. So we all just eat out. And if you're not tracking, you don't know how much, if how much you're overspending. If you are overspending, you really don't know where you are. And so that's where tracking it. And most times when we look at it, once a person has started tracking, I mean, myself included, we see where if we don't track, we overspend. It's just that easy. I mean, not as bad as the beginning, but every now and then we will. And that's everyone that I work with. We've all done experiments. Don't track your money for a week. It's not nearly as effective as the weeks that you've been tracking. And so we've proven that tracking on ourselves, we've proven how effective tracking can be for your financial future. Another benefit is that you will actually achieve your financial goals faster when you're tracking, because now you're motivated and you're tracking and you have your plan in place, and you really want to achieve these things. And so you start seeing, okay, I'll make some cuts here, or instead of eating out every day, maybe I'll cut it down to twice a week or something like that, or maybe the weekends on Friday or Saturday night, things like that. You begin to make those adjustments to your plan, to your budget and everything. And it never fails that you begin to reach your goals much faster, because you're just being more effective, and you're making the plan is more efficient. It's getting a lot done with the same amount of money, things like that. And so you become, you just get there much quicker. Just the bottom line to it, just tracking gets you there. Another one that's really big, I'm big on mental health, physical health, things like that. Your health is your wealth. I mean, without your health, you're really not as wealthy as you could be. When you are tracking, where every dollar is going, your stress levels go down. A lot of times when we're talking with finances, they're sort of stressed out because things aren't working, and it's less like a feeling of uncertainty, which it actually is. It's uncertain. You're not certain on where your money is going. And so when you start tracking and you start seeing where the money goes and you take control of that, your stress levels automatically come down. And especially when you put your plan together and it's is based off of your values and goals and your dreams, your stress levels go down, because it's another fear of the unknown. You've wiped it out. You no longer have that fear of the unknown. And so now, you knowing where your money is going, that stress level has gone down, and now you can actually use that extra energy to put it in being more intentional and actually controlling the direction of your financial future. So the reduction of stress is huge. Time and time again, every time we talk to someone, and in the beginning, if when I'm working with them, we start out meeting on a weekly basis for a month or two, or however they choose to work with us. And just that tracking part, when we do our next call, is, how are things going? I feel less stressful. I feel so much better. I feel lighter. They're using terms that fit, how they're trying to describe it, which all it's saying is my stress level has gone down. Just doing the tracking part, even if, because when we first talk about tracking, we're not saying don't try to make any changes, just track. Just that alone allows them, it reduces the stress level. Now, if they're in like borderline crises or something like that, the stress level doesn't disappear, but it does lower because now they know where they are. And so that's a huge one for the case for tracking. And then last but not least, I'm just sharing these top five, that's really the top five benefits of tracking. Um, your plans are better. You can plan better when you've tracked. You know, you're managing your money much better. Now your planning is going to be much better because you know where you are and you're tracking, and you know what each dollar is doing, and now you can make decisions in every area of your budget, and decide where to reallocate money, and everything like that. And so you just build a better financial plan. You get your goals quicker and because you have a better plan. Like I said earlier, you achieve your financial goals faster. It's because you have a much better plan in place, because you are tracking your money. And so now, as you can tell, you see the overall benefits of tracking, that pretty much without tracking, it's hard to even put a plan together. You still, it's what I heard a personal trainer, well, he's one of the top personal development experts, Brendan Bouchard. He said, without a plan, or without an ineffective plan, it's like running in the forest without a map of getting out. You just end up just wandering around in the forest. You lose your bearings. Everything looks the same, and then you get your stress level goes up, fear and all of this takes over, and then it goes into hopelessness, things like that. So as you can tell, why I say tracking is so important. You know where you are. You have a bearing. Tracking tells you where you are. Now you can decide. You've decided where you want to go. You know where you are. Now you can program that GPS, that financial GPS, to take you in the direction of your goals. And that's what tracking will do for you. So homework for this week, I always say, I know it's close to Christmas, but you can still do it. Because most people, they're thinking about their next year's resolutions. So we're not trying to make resolutions. We're doing financial intentions. Start tracking. Don't count the Christmas spending. The Christmas spending is something totally separate. You won't be doing it after Christmas. This, next year, January, you won't be doing Christmas shopping. You may do some after Christmas. I know I do, though. That the 26th, 27th, some huge deals out there. But other than that, just track. Um, Instead of, you could go back to pre Thanksgiving or something like that, or maybe the week after Thanksgiving, pull up your bank statements and just look at how you were spending and track it. And then use that to gauge this week. Pull up a typical week, your typical work week, everything that you're doing, and then just track and subtract out the Christmas spending. And that'll give you a picture of where you are. Then do it next week, next week, next week. And then you go into January, you have some momentum built. You already kind of know where you are, and then you can build that plan. And if you need help with that, contact us. Our information is on the screen. We can help you with that. We do it a lot. Every day we're working with people on getting that plan together for a more effective financial future. So with that being said, I hope that this information was useful. Get out there and track, do that homework, do the tracking. And if it is, if you're watching by Facebook Live, share it. Please share it and like it. Don't forget those questions, Wallet Wins. If you're watching by YouTube, Wallet Wins, subscribe to the channel, share it. Um, Tune in tomorrow. I will be back. Tell your friends about it. Go back and watch the other videos. Plenty of excellent information that will benefit you on your journey to financial health and wellness. And until tomorrow, we'll talk.